because I'm actually not late this time. Just wanted to point that out. So, you guys are probably wondering the aftermath of them posting all of those flyers saying I'm a fucking pedophile all over Harlan. And so, yesterday, I've been doing stuff at home, so I haven't really wanted to actually do a whole lot out and about. And, but yesterday I went out and about and found out that there are people who hadn't heard about it, who hadn't seen it. I went to my bank, they hadn't heard and seen about it. So, of course, I had to pull it up on my phone and show everybody. And then I went to the grocery store and did the same thing there. You know, they hadn't heard, or at least said they hadn't heard. So I pulled it all up and was showing everybody. I'm not a pedophile. So calling me a pedophile is not going to make me run away. It's just not going to make me run away. And Daniel Dowd, I know you mentioned me so that I would go watch. Who on earth do you think has 5 hours to listen to you drone on and on? I certainly don't have the time, and I have even less interest. The fact is, dude, you should have never fucking bragged about murdering Owen. You shouldn't have done it. It was a fucking stupid move on your part. Anybody who knew me, who has seen me go through this for fucking decades, would have known what I would have done. Doug Mesner, aka Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, he could have told you. If you thought I was just going to go run away and hide, you obviously didn't have a clue who I am. You know? And it's funny because I think heaven wanted me to see Doug. And the reason why I say that is because as a fluke yesterday, I was just flipping through YouTube like I always do, because it comes up news and the solar shit and all of that. That's kind of the stuff that I look at. But in the shorts, Doug Mesner was in one of those shorts. And of course I recognized him immediately. Dude, this is for you. You look fucking bad. You look bad. That's why heaven wanted me. You have to actually be thinking of death every time you look in the mirror. And so that got me thinking, and I started thinking about this whole situation and all of the times that we have spent together, even when I didn't want to. It dawned on me that your group and the ones that you're all associated with, the ones who have wanted to come out of the fucking woodwork to play with me, Thomas Schoenberger, you, Dougie, Lucien Greaves, and Kara, Emily Thorne, or calls herself Skills now. Not to mention the whole Dead Isaac Cappy Club, and Daniel Dowd, and Geo Farnsworth, and Ron Patton, and that whole group of Olympia people, and all of them. Craig Sawyer, fuck, I could name the list. Angela Power Disney, Denise Mathau. They're all part of the same fucking group. The only thing, there's only 2 words I need any of you to remember, and I know that it's 2 words that not one of you will forget. In an entire eternity, you will never forget the 2 words that I have for you. And this especially goes for you, Doug, because you seem to have one foot on the other side already. You look bad. When you get to the other side, right after you take your last breath, 2 words. My turn. That's what you need to remember. My turn. This whole side, This was all your guys' turn. This is all what you gotta do. But the next time around, on the other side of the fucking looking glass, it's my turn. Just remember that. It's my turn. The fact that you guys can actually flaunt your fucking crimes and your shit and no one does a fucking thing, you know? But that's, God's using all that as part of judgment. You know? They want to sit back. The fence setters get vomited out into the darkness with all the rest. That's how it's written. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Unfortunately, with all of this, you have to take a stand. You know? And so that's how it's going to work. But I know that not one of the people that I play with, you just don't have it inside of you to actually find redemption. You're incapable of it. And so, 2 words. The minute the darkness takes you, just remember, it's my turn. You know? You've made my life a living fucking hell. So let me point out, the ones who just passed out all the flyers, of course I went out and talked about it. I'm not done talking about it in town. Because again, it eliminates 2 problems for me. Hey, Smokey, you're late. Sorry. I just had to do it. As the whole thing about this whole situation is, them passing out flyers gets rid of 2 aspects to this whole thing. People in town telling themselves, David's just fucking crazy. He has post-traumatic stress disorder. He's fucking delusional. There's no one after him. No one's doing shit to him. That can't be argued with anymore. And the fact that the fucking people are local, that actually shows that as well. So when I say that they're breaking into my house and stealing shit and then bragging to me about it, that's where that all comes from. Because there's local people here. Yes, it's that group. It's the bigger group. But they're paying people here in town. You know? I know someone, a female, who has a big white pickup truck. Coincidentally enough, it's one of the very people I have Harlan Chief of Police, oh my God, I just had a brain fart. Derek Yamada, in my living room. I have him on tape for an hour and a half talking about the very person who was connected, I believe, to that big white pickup truck, which just proves all of that as well. You know? All of that as well. And then let me point out, just for those of you in Harlan who are here, not only do I have Derek Yamada in my living room talking for an hour and a half, basically, and I had an Arlo Go camera above my head because it was aimed at the front door, and he was right in front of it. And so for an hour and a half, I have him talking about how none of this can be CIA, and then telling me all the crimes of the people that I was telling him were bragging about being involved with it. That's the reason why I could never release that tape, because the stuff that he told me about the people who were helping them. And this group is the very group that when I was working and I had my spiritual advisor, and they were just so wonderful. His co-worker, the one who helps him run the fucking place, is the one who told me that they were in league with the people next door. Some of them are gone, some of them are still there, and the issues still fucking remain. But that's all connected. That's how I know a white truck, you know? And the coworker, I pissed her off so bad that she told me they were trying to set me up with this very group and wanted to let me know that. It's just that they shouldn't have let me know before they sprung the trap. Because obviously I was just like, well then, fuck you, bitch. And my spiritual advisor. But This is that group. This is the very same group that just passed out all those flyers that have made a myriad amount of attempts at identity theft on my Social Security, which is exactly what Social Security told me because they've completely locked it up. No one can do shit with that. You have to go and show an ID and basically do stuff to actually prove that you're me. And same group. But Daniel Dowd, Pootie Twang, the one who's actually bragging about doing all the posters while he's actually working with some idiot who's pretending to be him, doing videos of my house burning down and doxing me and all of this other bullshit. That's the same one who bragged about coming into town and murdering Owen. Posted all those live videos of Harlan on YouTube. You know? Same person. The same motherfucker who's now on the bridge with Isaac Cappy when Isaac Cappy committed suicide. Same motherfucker. And the motherfucker is spending 5 hours on doing a video. God only knows what he talks about. Go ahead and watch it. I have no interest. None. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit because I know what's getting ready to happen. 2 fucking words, dickhead. My turn. Because the next time, I get to do it. Your little group has had its fun. Now I get to respond the next time around. And you can believe it. You can accept it. You don't have to believe it. You can fucking think it's bullshit. Won't make a fucking bit of difference. In the end, 2 fucking words. My turn. Same fucking thing with Doug Mesner. You know? Your fucking child trafficking bullshit isn't a fucking abomination to fucking heaven. Imagine that. And that's who you're fighting. Heaven. I'm just a servant. I just do what I'm told. You know? Which is fine by me. I'm totally okay with that. You know? And you may be atheist, Doug. Like the comment that you left, oh, I can't control a bunch of atheists passing out flyers, you know? Let me just point out to you, it doesn't make any difference what the fuck. You love the motherfucking dark. You are so bound to the fucking dark, and you've been proud of it. Up until this point, you've been fucking proud of it. So claim it, motherfucker, because it's waiting to claim you. That's what's happening. And you look terrible. Oh my God, you look horrid. Oh, and by the way, I only watched it long enough to take 2 screenshots, so I only probably heard about 20 seconds of it, but you really sound very bitter. You know? I don't know exactly, hey Saki, I don't know who, hey Sherilyn, I don't know who you were talking to because it was a short and I obviously didn't watch it. I just wanted to take a picture of you because you look so bad. So I could send it out to people and post it on my blog. You know? I want people to see. And I know you watch this shit. And when I tell you the fun has not even begun yet, I can't reiterate that enough. Just can't reiterate it enough. And as far as everything goes, I know Neil Gross is pissed off about those flyers because now everyone in town is starting to realize what the fuck has been going on and what's being involved with, you know? And I knew things were going to intensify as soon as I started talking about the fact that that Isaac Cappy was murdered 11 months before that Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. I knew things were going to intensify. I had absolutely no idea how. even all of this caught me off guard because it was just so over the top and stupid. It's just, and I always thought you guys were so smart. Not you guys. It's just the group. Growing up with Aquino and the people that were behind Aquino and stuff as a kid, you look at them and think, oh, wow, they're super, super smart and blah, 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 blah. But that is not what I have found in adult life at all. You know, Aquino, when I went and knocked on his door and I could hear him and Lila talking about me in the window above that was open, and they were so frantic about who I was that, I'm sorry, Saki, I did pray for you the last time. And so, he was just a scared, sad old man. That's exactly what they all are. But they have no clue, hey, cognitive, they have no clue what is just about ready to completely envelop them. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do. And they have, like everybody, the ability to repent and turn away, like everyone else, until their very last breath. But the moment after their last breath, they're fucked. Doug, you're fucked. You don't have it in you to actually change. And you're near death. Oh my God, you looked horrid. And Daniel Dowd can do and say whatever the fuck he wants, but you and Gio should have never fucking bragged about being in town and murdering Owen. You just shouldn't have done it. It was fucking stupid on your part. I don't know what you thought I was gonna do or not do. What the fuck did you think I don't even know what the fuck you thought. But I'll never let it go. I'll never let it drop. Never. And Neil Gross knows. I have Neil dead to rights on that Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. He can say that it was not his job to count fucking explosions. But I know people are looking at him. I know people are looking at him. And people in Harlan who are now watching these videos because you've just poured gasoline on a situation in a small town that has nobody has anything better to do than fucking talk. That's just it. They have nothing better to do than fucking talk. And so they, you know, why the cops were called the night they put up those flyers. Why was nothing done? Because they wanted them. The fact that Gio was trying to convince Smokey to call the sheriff's office, I really do wonder what the sheriff has been telling people. I really do. You know? And the sheriff, Neil Gross, first of all, he lied about the gas station explosion. And then when I got into a fight with him, he told me that it wasn't his job to count explosions. But the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion, he was interviewed the same day that Dan was. He was the owner of the gas station who got out, went back in, got his brother-in-law, got them both out to safety before the second explosion. And I was also interviewed because I only lived a quarter of a block up in that big white funeral home place, right up on the hill. And so we were all three interviewed. So why does the official report say that it filled with gas and one explosion leveled the place? Because that's not how it fucking happened. And Neil Gross knew that there were people across the street that Saturday who woke up my neighbors. That's how I found out about it. And I know he knows because I told him that morning when he talked to me in front of my sister's house, which was directly across the street from the gas station. She was in Omaha. She wasn't even there, you know? But, and not to mention Donovan, his deputy, who they were using to come after me with the dogs in Erling, ended up committing suicide a week and a half before that whole gas station explosion. What were they making him do? That's what I want to know. What were they making him do? You know? But that was the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. And then since then, it has been just nothing but a mess. Yeah. Well, there's a video of the second explosion. There's a video. I have the video on my channel of the second explosion. Someone was doing a video of the smoke cloud that was rising up from the first explosion of the gas station, which I guess was louder than the second one that leveled the place. So they were filming the smoke and this plume of smoke, and 9.5 minutes later, that's when the second explosion happened. And they caught the second explosion happening, you know? And so there's, not to mention KETV interviewed Neil Gross, the sheriff, and Dan, the owner, and me, you know? If the gas station filled with gas and on one explosion leveled the place, how the fuck did Dan get out of the gas station? Let alone, how did he get back in the gas station, get his brother-in-law, and get them both out? What, did physics not work in Erling? You know, that day, physics didn't work. And he forgot. I mean, shit, you don't even have to count, Neil. All you had to do was recall, you know? And then, when they murdered Owen, and Daniel Dowd, who is the one who is behind these flyers, along with Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. All this has been going on for a while now. All of these have been going on for a while now. Because, thank you for sending me, you know, I don't even know if I want to see it. Because I really just... And I'm disabled. So they can do this to a disabled person. You know? And it's just totally legal. It's totally okay. And why are they doing that? Because they're involved with a fucking child trafficking operation. And why is Neil Gross helping them? Because Neil Gross is trying to protect the huge meth operation that's going on here, that a lot of people are involved with. Let me point out, Derek Yamada did not disband the Harlan Police Department because Yamada had a nervous breakdown. They disbanded the Harlan Police Department because they found out that I had Derek Yamada sitting in my living room for an hour and a half, talking about the people who were harassing the absolute ever-living shit out of me next door. Then, right after that, because what precipitated it is I walked out my door and there were people standing at my fence right by my bedroom window under the carport of the place right next door to me. And when I walked out, they both looked at me, and the one dude was just like, hello. And it was just such a weird situation. It was on the other side of the dope apartments. But the dope apartments is where I'm talking about, I was bitching about. But when the day that I got Yamada on video in my living room, is I walked out the door and there were two guys there, and I walked to my car, got in my car, and pulled out of the driveway, and I did it kind of quick because I wanted to see who the fuck these guys were. When I got out past my house by the road, they were gone. They'd vanished. And I drove around the block a couple times to see if I could find them, and they had vanished. But now I realized that there were more people involved with all of this, and they were coming from a different place. And so I went to the police office and fucking started bitching at them that I was sick of fucking being harassed, and that there were two guys right beside my fence, focused on my house, and I was upset. And when I got home, Derek Yamada showed up at my front door no more than 3 to 5 minutes after I got home. And so I invited him in, and we sat down in the living room and had an hour and a half conversation. The only reason I pulled that video is because I couldn't believe the shit that was being said. And so I pulled that video. So right after that, a day or two after that, I ended up putting security cameras on the outside of my house. And so it was no more than a day or two after I put security cameras on the outside of my house, Yamada's deputy, the female, came and banged on my door and was grilling me, demanding to know where the cameras were focused. And it was a bizarro situation that was all caught in front of my Ring camera. And in the end, what she said was she was there because the meth heads that Derek Yamada had just told me about, all the shit they were involved with, meth heads left prescription drugs in their car overnight. And someone broke into their car overnight and stole their prescription drugs. And that's what she told me in front of my Ring camera. No more, less than a week after Derek Yamada was in my living room for an hour and a half where I was recording him. So then, right after that, that Saturday, who shows up at my door but the very fucking person I was bitching about to the fucking police, saying that someone again broke into their car and stole some fishing rods and demanded 4 fucking times for me to call them, and gave me their phone number 4 fucking times, to the point where I entered it into my phone. I know I entered it into my phone. And they said, just check your cameras. If you see anything, will you just give us a call? So I go downstairs, look at my security cameras, didn't find a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. And do you know, I went to go, and then, so 5 minutes after that, 5 minutes after they left my front door, and I was trying to be nice and give them the benefit of the fucking doubt. Went downstairs, there was nothing there. I went onto my phone to realize that it was gone. Whatever number I had put down was gone. It wasn't on my phone anymore. It was nothing. So I went over and knocked on their door 5 fucking minutes after they were at my front fucking door, and no one answered the door. So I walked back home, wrote a note saying I looked at the cameras and I didn't find anything. There's nothing on those cameras. Walked back over to their apartment, knocked on the fucking door again. No one answered the door, so I just slid the fucking note under the door and came back home. Later on, because then I came over and pulled that Ring camera, because that all happened in front of my Ring camera too. So after that, what I started to realize was the reason why this idiot wanted me to fucking call them is because they wanted to say that I got their phone number and that I was fucking harassing them so they could get a fucking protection order out on me. And I have all of this shit. It was not but a week and a half all this went down. That's the real reason that Harlan disbanded the Harlan Police Department, because they know. Neil knows because I sent fucking Neil everything. But now, after the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion, I don't just save it for Neil. I send it to everyone, because now I know Neil can't be trusted. Funny enough, Harlan was an awful, or Erling was a, Erling, whatever they released in that fucking girl, the devil is alive and well in fucking Erling. That's all I'm saying. I will not be surprised if the fucking house that they fucking did all their shit to that girl in has a portal to hell in it. That's how bad Erling was. That's how bad. But do you know that I stayed in Shelby County and moved to Harlan? Because even when I moved to Erling, I trusted Neil Gross. It wasn't until I moved to Harlan that people started to tell me all about the fucking meth operation that's going on in town. Where Noah Schilling is driving down to the fucking trailer park and there's all kinds of drugs being exchanged and there's all kinds of shit going on that seems like everyone fucking knows about around here. Everyone knows about. And they just say, well, there's nothing you can do. And I'm supposed to turn the other way. You know? But now with these flyers, there's no more saying that it's all in my head. That this group that's been after me is all in my head. I'm just crazy. I just have post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm just delusional. Wow. Those flyers. One fucking hell of a delusion. Don't you believe? One hell of a fucking delusion. You know? That doesn't happen anymore. And the fact that someone in town did it. Because obviously they happened in town. What, you think Daniel Dowd came from Arizona to come hang flyers? Really? You think wherever fucking Geo, he was able to put the fucking bottle down long enough to actually come hang flyers, and it was a female hand. The minute I saw that fucking hand in that video, I was like, no fucking way. And then I went out and checked my fucking Ring camera, and sure as fuck, there's a big-ass white truck in front of my mailbox at 11:58 at night, putting shit in front of it. Or in it. You really couldn't tell. But you could tell they stopped. You could tell they opened the door. The light went on. You could tell. You know? Despite any... whatever. It just goes to show the shit that I have been having to deal with. Neil knew that I was trying to expose this fucking pedophile ring that I've been trying to expose for a long time. And Doug Mesner, founder of the Satanic Temple, he was all involved with that shit with the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. He was bragging to me. He was fucking threatening me before it happened and then after it happened. And that's not counting the whole 3 fucking years they were breaking into my house. Fucking kicked the shit out of one of my dogs at one point in time. Took me 2.5 months to get her to come down. I had to carry an 85-pound dog down a flight of stairs because she would hide upstairs for 2.5 months. She hid the fuck upstairs because she was terrified of getting hurt downstairs again, of someone hurting her. For 2.5 months. And all that shit, when I start fucking thinking about it, I only have fucking 2 words for you motherfuckers. My turn. My turn. Next time around, it's my turn. And you ain't gonna like the fun house I fucking designed for all of you. Trust me on that. And you can dance around and fucking parade your shit around all you fucking want. Daniel Dowd, do a fucking marathon. Go for 50 fucking hours talking about me. It ain't gonna change a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. You're gonna end up in the goddamn dark, and you ain't gonna fucking like it when you do. And that's how this is gonna work. And all the motherfuckers who were in town, who've been helping Neil Gross and trying to fuck me, you're all involved as well. You're bound to the fucking dark just as well as he is. You're all gonna end up there. 'Cause I ain't fucking Jesus Christ. I don't give a shit about forgiveness. This time around for me, it's all about fucking accountability. And for the shit that I've gone through, it's about retribution. It always fucking began that way. Because when I started, it was about a bunch of little boys that they were fucking slicing and dicing while they screamed as a kid. That's how this shit started. It's just evolved and grown so much more personal. You know the funny thing about fucking doing flyers, telling everybody that I'm a fucking pedophile when I'm not a pedophile, is not only does it not scare me, it makes my fucking resolve even stronger. You aren't gonna fucking like what happens to you, you know? And if you think I'm gonna run because a bunch of goddamn pedophiles is making life, you're projecting your shit off onto me, you know? Okay, you know, I don't know why you think that's gonna work, but knock yourselves out. Death is coming. Death is coming. This whole Iran-Israel thing, if you live in the fucking United States, you better come to terms with your fucking makers soon. Because we're about to see some shit. you know? And Dougie boy, shit, you could be dead tonight. You could be dead now already. You look terrible. You look terrible. And the moment after you fucking take your last breath, just remember, and I know you'll never forget, my turn. My turn. Because next time it's my turn. Next time I get to do the shit. And I've already spent a long time setting it up. Because that's always been my focus. It's always been my focus. But I will say that yesterday, I wanted to make sure that I didn't seem like I was crazy, because I couldn't remember why I started laughing yesterday or the day before my last live. And so I went back to listen to that part, and you know, I have listened to that thing, and at the very end when I start laughing about Neil Gross, I've listened to it a numerous amount of times now, because it just makes me laugh. It still makes me laugh, because the shit that you guys are doing doesn't even fucking make sense. And in town, what you've done is just poured gasoline. People who weren't even fucking aware are now aware of the shit, you know? And the meth operation is all going to come out. And that whole... You realize, Neil, that the group that you're dealing with, Thomas Schoenberger, Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, Tara Joyce, Daniel Dowd, Geo Farnsworth, Corey Daniel, his wife, Gabe Hoffman, DeFango, you know, Ron Patton. I doubt he's called you. I bet Ron Patton was involved with the Algona police. And all of his gaggle of women in Olympia and all of that. All of this shit that's coming down is just kind of... I just don't see how you think all of these people, Neil, are stupid. They're not very bright. And they've spent all this time actually telling themselves how they're untouchable. And how they can act with complete impunity and blah, 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 blah. And they do the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. And think that nobody can call them out on it. That's what they think. And that's what you have associated yourself with. So the fact that they're going to drag out all of your shit with the meth operation is just hilarious to me. It's hilarious, you know? And that's all I can really say about that, is that it's hilarious. I told you repeatedly in emails, if you were going to stand as their fucking guard dog, I was gonna buzz right over your stupid ass. Just let me remind you that I told you so. Repeatedly. I've said this to you repeatedly. But you didn't listen. Doesn't change a fucking thing. You know? Never did. Your ignorance didn't fucking change anything. And now you're about to be bulldozed. You know? You all are. Because the group that you're associated with doesn't like liabilities. Thomas Schoenberger, you're a fucking liability now. You're a liability. Everybody knows your shit now. You know? Everyone knows your shit. Doug Mesner, fuck. I don't think you even care, because you look so bad that I know your health problems are giving you issues every day. And you are bitter. If you think you're bitter now. Just wait. That goes for the fucking lot of you. You know? Those of you who wanted to play with me individually, my spiritual advisor, and all the people surrounding him, and all... You know, this overheating of my phone only happens when I'm doing YouTube videos, and it only happens with certain YouTube live videos. Otherwise, I don't have any problems whatsoever. None. But my phone overheated. The thing about it is Doug, Thomas, they were all warned. My goal in this is to make them liabilities. That's what I want to do, is make them liabilities. And the very group that they are fucking running, I want them to be liabilities. I just turned on my internet. My phone is overheating. Now, you know, they don't like this one. They don't like this one. They don't like me. What they would like to do is actually get it to where they could just make me drop over dead. That's what they want to do. They want to cause so much stress. And the stress level, let me tell you, I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's been difficult. But I'm fine. And again, a lot of what keeps me going, I think, is my faith. You know? In fact, that is what keeps me going, is my faith. And so, and we're at the end. This whole thing with Iran and Israel, this is just beginning, people. You know? It ain't gonna go like Russia and Ukraine. And one way or the other, they don't like it. Exactly, Sherilyn. They don't like it that they didn't get the response they wanted. They thought I would run and hide. But this whole situation was just... It was such a golden opportunity. I like I said yesterday, I couldn't have planned it better myself. You know? I couldn't have planned it better myself. Thank you. You know... I think more and more that, especially with all of the weird shit that has just gone on, especially in the last 2 years, but especially lately, because I don't know, passing flyers around my town was just a super bizarre thing. I thought it was bizarre. Granted, at the very beginning, I was pissed off. But the more I started to look at it, the more I realized how absolutely amusing it was. And it is amusing to me. You know, it's beyond desperate. And Doug, you're fucked. You're fucked. And I know you watch these. And I know that you're commenting on them. And I know that you're helping this group. You know? Your secrets are the last fucking thing you're going to have to worry about here very soon. Your soul is that's what's going to become your focus. And like I said, my turn. The minute you take your last breath, my turn. Because the little fun house that you're going into, I spent 2 decades basically constructing, didn't realize what I was doing when I was just doing it, using the shamanic stuff. But you ain't gonna like. And you'll remember what I said. Because if you think you are bitter and obsessed with me now, just wait. You know? And so I'm gonna pray. Oh, they did go after me. They have been going after me. They've been breaking into my house over and over and over. Steal shit and then brag and laugh about it. Came in and fucking murdered my friend. Murdered my friend. Posted live videos of Harlan at the time on YouTube. Bragged about it. And what did Neil Gross do? He sent us a group email 6 months after the fact. 6 months after the fact. Talking about a picture that I wasn't even talking about. On an account that wasn't even, because it was Andy Villa. It was the Andy Villa account I was focused on. He didn't want to bring any of the Andy Villa account, even though he added Andy Villa in the group email. You can go see it. You know? I'll post that. Neil Gross is fucked with screenshots. If you go to my blog and you type that in, it'll come up. He sent us all saying that everything was okay with them. And this picture that didn't make any difference, well, it didn't prove that they were in town. They murdered my friend Owen. And Neil told me that argued about this fucking picture, and yet Daniel Dowd had posted a fucking bunch of live videos on YouTube of Harlan at the time. So what the fuck was he doing in Harlan when he's bragging about murdering my friend Owen? You know? So what the fuck were they doing in town? And why Neil suddenly fucking got involved 6 months later. I've had nothing but, that fake ass Boy Scout, he doesn't realize. I told him he wanted to play, okay, but the way I play, he better bring something better than his muscles and his height. Because, yeah, I know he was the basketball star and the football star and the track star. And his family's wealthy, and he's good looking, and blah, blah, blah. But you better bring something fucking else if you're going to play with me. And I'm tenacious beyond all get out. I was trained to bite down on something and never let go. And I never will. I never will. And that's all documented on my blog. All of it is fucking documented. Screenshots of Neil's shit. All of it. It's all documented. I just fucking took screenshots of our conversation and posted it. You know? But that was after the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. And I hate to fucking break it to people, but one explosion, if the place filled with gas and one explosion brought the place down, which is what the official report says, how the fuck did Dan, the owner, get out, go back in, get his brother-in-law, get them both back out to safety before the place fell down, demolished? How did that even work? And Neil knew about it. He was interviewed by KETV, just like Dan was, just like I was. What was that gas station explosion? Why did Neil hide it? Because it was a domestic terrorism thing. They were trying to fucking murder me. They were trying to murder me in a different way, but for the same reasons. They had just murdered Isaac Cappy 11 months before. The same thing. That's the reason why they freaked out when I started to get involved with all of this 4 years later after Isaac was murdered, and started talking about Isaac and opened up comments, and all of a sudden they descended upon me. And that's why. And Neil knew. Neil knew all of it. He knew about the threats that I was getting from Doug Mesner. He knew about all of the shit that had gone on for 3 years before that gas station explosion. I think what precipitated that gas station explosion is that Kathy had just bought the house across the street, and they knew damn well that I was wanting to sell my house and get the fuck out of there. So they used it to try and kill me, because my sister had just bought the house across the street. The KETV news report, all those broken windows in that house, that was the sister. My sister, Kathy, had just bought that house. Just bought it. A week before. She wasn't there when it happened. She was in Omaha. But then she's also the one who convinced everyone that our stepmother was dead for 3 years, and our stepmother's involved. My stepmother is involved. Was heavily involved with my father with all of this child trafficking and murdering kids. Just like I've said, from the fucking beginning. It didn't just start when I moved to fucking Harlan. This has been going on for a long fucking time. I finally wrote and published my book because I was tired of the fight. And I published that in 2012. So this has been going on for a long time. It's not like it just started. This is a new thing. This is not a new thing. This is not a new thing at all. In fact, actually what it is a very old thing that's getting ready to conclude. That's what it is. It's starting to conclude. And when it comes down to it, the fucking dark owns them. Owns them. The dark owns their stupid asses. And it's here to claim what it owns. It's here to claim what's its. That's how it's working. The dark is here to claim its own. That's why I say, fill your heart with love. Because if you don't, you're fucked. I got to pray because we got to be out of here at noon. Heaven, I come to you. The last few days have been totally enlightening, but not without its stress. I need a miracle financially, you know? And you know I do. I'm just praying. I'm asking for people to pray and just realize it won't just help me, but fuck. I need a miracle. I think we all do. I think in one way or the other, all of us are having, there's a lot of us who are having a dark night of the soul because the stress level is so high right now. We're being inundated with X-flare after X-flare after CME after CME. It's the energy level from the sun has inundated this planet in such a way that it is difficult to actually maintain sometimes. And we just ask you to tell you that we're grateful for everything that you do to us and help us. And we ask for forgiveness at those times where we just can't rise up as high as we probably should. And your son, our brother, Jesus Christ, came down and told us it will have never been this bad before, nor will it ever be this bad again. And though we are to face hell, in the end it'll be so worth it. And for someone going through it and having my place in this battle, not being any better or worse or more important or worth, we all have our place, you know, and our place counts. And just help us realize that, you know, when we feel small and insignificant, we're here for a reason. And we just ask that you guide us, through us, as us. Help us fill our hearts with love and do the right thing and rise to the right occasion. Like your son, our brother, did, who emulated that so perfectly. And it's in his name that we say these things. Amen. Okay. All right, well, we're almost out of here. I hope it stopped buffering. I didn't hear anything while I was praying. Of course, my eyes were closed. But, no, this whole situation, that's the reason why God, Jesus Christ, told us the most important thing in this life is to know yourself. That was key to all of us. That's the key. That if Jesus Christ had a key to life, I would think that, I know that he said, know yourself. And so when people come and try and feed your head full of bullshit, or feed other people's head full of bullshit, if you know who you are, what difference does it make? You know? And for me, fuck the people who are going to talk and bear false witness, period. I don't think it has anything to do with gay people, if you're gay or not, whether you know yourself. You know, don't know. Don't have a clue. I will say that being gay does give one a certain amount of strength, especially with my age, because you had to fight to actually even just exist for a long time. The reason why they're going after the transsexuals is because everybody likes gay people now. You know, for better or worse, they can't really go after the gay people. Everyone was okay with gay marriage. So now we're just going to focus on transsexuals, you know? And in the process of us focusing on the transsexuals, we're pushing the fucking agenda. That's, you know, that's how it's working, is that we're pushing the agenda. David's blog needs to be paid. PayPal and Venmo is D. Shurter, and no amount is too small. Every year, shit comes up. Every year, shit comes up. That's the reason why I started asking for donations, because I'm at a point where I cannot handle all of this shit myself. But davidshurter.com, that has all that information from 2011 on up, that shit ain't free. They don't publish that shit and do the shit that they do for free. None of it's free, you know? And I've taken care of and paid for all of that shit for years. For years. It's just the last couple of years I haven't been able to do it. I'm not able to do it. And so I need help, you know? No donation is too small. And everything right now is going to the blog. It won't even go for food until the blog is taken care of. And it will be taken care of, because shit, I'll just go without. I'll turn shit off. Because at this point in right time, there's no way. You know, that's exactly what Thomas Schoenberger wants. As Chris Mackenzie Jones, you go read that, that's the whole thing. Oh, they're going to erase everything I've ever done online. That's what they're going to do. That was their threat. You know? They want that fucking blog down. They want this channel down in the worst fucking way. You know? And they'll do anything they can. Because let me tell you, that shit that they hung up all over fucking town, calling me a pedophile, they were hoping that some crazy person out here would show up at my house with a gun and hurt me. That's what the fuck they want. That's their whole objective in this whole situation. You know? That's their whole fucking objective. Smokey, you just keep doing the shit that you're doing. You know? Those who can contribute, I hope, will contribute. Those who can't contribute, I completely fucking understand. Trust me, I understand. You know? This is more for the people who are out there who could help and feel inclined, you know? I will assure you that these fucking child traffickers are going fucking down. They're going the fuck down. On my dying breath, they're going down. And after I take my last breath, I ain't gonna give up then either. And they're seriously fucked. You know? Broke is an understatement, dude. That's just it. Broke is an understatement. You know? Fuck, it's been noodles with butter and garlic powder. That's what it's been. Which I don't mind. I kind of get sick of it every once in a while. And I go buy potatoes. Because at Aldi's I can buy a 10-pound bag of potatoes for like $3, $4. And so I got to get off here. Bye, guys.